Hello everyone, it's Daniel Berry, Speech 151. This is the last speech of this semester. It feels kind of bittersweet actually, and I'm a little sad about it. I was getting in a lot of practice and starting to feel confident. So in a way I'm glad it's over with, but also a little sad. I kind of feel like this is an accepted speech. If it was, I would thank all my fellow classmates. I would thank the instructor. I would thank all the people that showed up to watch my speeches, even if I fed them good barbecue and made sure they were well fed and had a lot of drinks. And finally, I would thank Amazon.com for the sweet camera I'm using to record this. But this isn't an accepted speech. Today, I'll be talking about the skills that I expected to gain from this course. Secondly, I will list and define some examples of the concepts that I learned in this course. I'm also going to talk about techniques I use to get my audience to actuate. Then I'll share with you how my public speaking skills have improved. I will talk about what my instructor and other students mentioned were my strengths. Although I won't only talk about the positives of my speeches. I will also talk about what my instructor told me I could improve upon, and I will include what I could have done better with all my speeches, but specifically regarding my interview speech. I feel my interview speech was my strongest speech, although I had a lot of room to improve. I'll discuss my methods I use of informing during that speech, and also my organizational pattern that I used. And also, since I had such a great time watching other speeches and having everyone as my classmates, I also wanted to mention a speech I watched by John Garcia. I watched his persuasive speech before I did this speech, and I got some ideas and tips and tricks off of him, and so I'd like to mention some things that he did good as well. And finally, I will touch on my personal and my professional goals and talk about a time that I may need to present a speech in the future. So let's get started. But before I dive in, I wanted to propose a question to all my classmates and anyone who watches this video. How can we become better public speakers? I would say stop thinking about the public aspect of it, because people want to listen to someone who's relaxed and confident, and they want to be able to relate to what the speaker is saying. So try to focus on more of the speaking and not the public aspect. Try to relax and think of it as a conversation between you and the audience, or you and a group of friends. You can also try some other techniques such as deep breathing or other relaxation technique, which I do. You need to calm yourself before you even start your speech. And also don't forget to use all the resources that you have at your disposal. We have a lot of great information in our textbook that you can keep and refer back to at any time. We also have a very knowledgeable and experienced speech instructor, and I would just say ask for help if you need it, and don't be afraid to ask for help, and keep trying. Now, let's talk about what I expected to gain from this course. I expected to gain a lot more confidence, and through much needed practice and repetition, I started to gain that confidence. I always say that practice makes progress. You'll never be perfect, but if you keep practicing and trying, and that repetition will help you get better. Now, what I actually learned from this course, it exceeded my expectations. Along with confidence, I learned the importance of a good introduction, a solid body, and a good conclusion. I also learned attention-grabbing techniques to have more of an impact on your audience. Some things such as start with a question or talk about something that your audience can relate to. I also learned to keep my hand out until the end of the speech so that the people that are viewing my speech aren't distracted by it while I'm trying to talk. And I love humor, so I also learned that humor or interacting with your audience can help them actuate as well and get them more involved. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about John Garcia's speech that I watched. He connected with the audience and connected with me as I was watching his speech. Because in his introduction, he started by describing something that I could relate to and many other people could relate with. And it was also very informative, had good statistics, and it gave his speech more credibility. So good job, John. As far as myself, I feel my skills have improved by employing a lot of those techniques that I just mentioned. And I'm more confident now and more organized as far as planning my speech, writing it, and then performing it. The instructor told me I have good eye contact and clear speech, something I worked very hard at, so that was nice to hear. Although I do need to improve on my visual aids, I feel I could have done better with this in my interview speech in particular. During that speech, I had a well-rounded speech. I spoke with confidence. Although, as I mentioned before, I need to be more creative with my visual aids, and they need to be a more impactful part of my speech. I used a chronological organizational pattern in that speech, and I described an interview that I had conducted, which was a very informative speech for me because I learned a lot from that interview, so that was a great one. And the skills that I've learned in this course will help my personal and professional life, from job interviews, personal interactions, and confidence in general. I believe I'm now more prepared for my academic and workplace career going forward. I feel as though a job interview is somewhat of a public speech. You have to sit down in front of sometimes a group of people, sometimes one person, and you have to speak in a professional manner and be well organized. So a lot of these techniques I learned in this course are definitely going to help me when it comes to that. And I'll definitely use the techniques I learned from this class when the time comes. And in conclusion, I just want to thank all of my classmates that went through this course with me, and my instructor as well. It was a wonderful class, and I just wish you all the best and greatest success in the future.